What's going on, everybody? Good morning. We have made it to another Friday, made it to the end of another week, and we've got another incoming Seattle Seahawk rookie to take a look at today. And I think you guys know where this is going. If 2 days ago we talked about Zabel, and 1 day ago we talked about Emin, the next guy on the list is Elijah Arroyo. And this one's going to be interesting, I think, for some of my viewers, because this was the first guy we took that I didn't really get. There were two guys the Seahawks took in this draft that I didn't really get, and Arroyo was the first of them. So I imagine some people watching this video or watching the videos later today are going to be wondering, do I get it now? Do I still not get it? Where am I with Elijah Arroyo? Because some people really liked this guy. I've heard a lot from them over the last couple of weeks, and some people feel the same way that I feel. They don't really like this guy. So, relatively polarizing player. Let's talk about him as much as we can, starting with the numbers, and I'll just say it right now. This video will probably not be very long because we only have so many numbers to work with, because we can only work with what he gave us in his college career, which was frustratingly little. Before we get into those numbers, though, I want to say thank you for watching this video. Please like the video, click the thumbs up button. Subscribe if you're new, click the bell for notifications. Going to try to upload daily during the dead part of the off season here, and once the season starts, we're going to be back to 4 to 6 uploads most days. Become a channel member for $2 a month. Those are the best ways to help support the channel. All right, so Elijah Arroyo, let's talk about him. The basics: tight end. He is a tight end. Miami Hurricanes, spent his whole 4-year college career with the Hurricanes. 22 years old and will be 22 when the season starts. So relatively young, not super young for rookies, but relatively so. Working with a pretty good base here in terms of he has room to grow. So the size is pretty much in line with the modern tight end. 6'5" plus 1/8 of an inch. So that's actually taller than the average tight end over the last 26 years by a good amount. 75th percentile. 250 pounds is 39th percentile. But remember, that is over the last 26 years. And tight ends have been getting lighter and lighter generally over the last several years. So for the modern NFL, this is actually probably a little above average, or at the very least average. 33-inch arms are about average. That works. And 10-inch hands. So his measurements, his measurables physically are more or less fine. Now, he didn't give us much to work with at the combine. He did 22 bench press reps, which was good for 66th percentile. That's pretty good, especially given that he has 33-inch arms. But he didn't do anything else. And there are two different perspectives on why he didn't do anything else that we'll get to throughout the day. But suffice to say, he did not do any of the other combine drills. All right, so let's start at the beginning. And like I said, these first few years, we're going to get through them quick. 2021, he's a freshman. He plays in 12 games, so he plays the whole season, but he averages about 12 snaps a game. He barely plays. There are some games where he's just playing garbage time. There's some games where he gets a little bit of run, but it's just kind of a test run. He's barely out there. He's not making a big impact on the team. He gets targeted 8 times throughout the season. Makes 5 catches for 86 yards. 44 of those yards are yards after the catch. And 1 touchdown. 10.1 average depth of target, so he is getting targeted a decent amount down the field. But overall, there's not much to say because we don't have a real sample size. And he also allows 1 quarterback pressure in pass protection on 12 pass blocking snaps. All in all, he had 53 pass routes run in 2021 and 76 run blocking reps. So he had a little bit of experience. He was getting his feet wet, which is normal for a freshman, but we don't have a lot to work with yet. 64 of his snaps were in line, 38 were in the slot, 34 were in the backfield, so he actually gets a decent chunk of his snaps lined up in the backfield as a fullback or H-back or running whatever, and then 5 snaps as a wideout. 42 of his run blocking snaps were zone, and 15 were gap, and he graded out okay, 61 overall, 54.4 as a receiver, not very good, about 58 as a pass blocker, little below average. Run blocking grade's good, 70.3, but there's really just not enough data to go on here. So I'd like to say let's go to 2024 so we can get more information, but we're not going to because he did even less in 2024, and this time it was because of injury. He only played 4 games, but in those 4 games, he played a lot. He totaled almost 140 snaps in those 4 games. So they were trying to make him a full-time player. They were trying to get him out there, but his left knee acted up, and he missed most of the season. And you can see how little he did in those snaps that he did get. So again, we're not getting a very good picture of what this guy can really do. 7 targets, 5 catches, 66 yards, about half of it is yak, 8-yard average depth of target. So again, kind of moderate, intermediate, normal stuff for a tight end. Allows 1 quarterback hit and 1 quarterback pressure in 11 pass blocking snaps. So there's definitely some leakiness going on with his blocking. 11 snaps and 2 total pressures is not what you're looking for. Runs 45 routes throughout the season, 82 run blocking reps. 100 of his snaps are inline, 15 are in the slot, 18 are in the backfield, and 5 are wide. So you definitely see more inline stuff from him compared to the previous year, but again, it's not enough for us to get a great feel for things. His run blocking reps are mostly gap, 57 gap to 22 zone, and he's graded out pretty poorly. Not that that means much when you don't play enough. His only good graded area was receiving, 69.1. Other than that, he was according to PFF, poor pass blocker and very poor run blocker. So I guess you could call it regression, but I hesitate to believe that any of this stuff means anything when you're talking about 138 snaps. And this is where I'd like to say, hey, 2023 will tell us the story. It doesn't. He plays even less. 5 games, 69 snaps. There is an effort to integrate him as at the very least, part-time player, somebody of meaning, but it gets cut short by another injury to the same area, the left knee. He gets targeted 1 time this whole season. 1 catch, 11 yards, 10 yak. So that means the average depth of target was 1 yard. And he also picked up 1 penalty, the first penalty of his career. And again, there's just not enough to chew on here. We don't get a good picture of what's going on with this guy as a player. 29 routes, 39 run block reps, 1 pass blocking rep, 36 inline, 26 slot, 3 backfield reps, 4 wide reps, 25 gap scheme runs, 13 zone runs. Graded very poorly, but again, it's not enough snaps to be meaningful. So we are through 3 of his 4 years in college, and we still don't get a good picture of what this guy can do. Over this 3-year span, he's played not even 350 snaps. So there's just not a lot to go on. All we can really say is that he's having a rough go of it. Hopefully his 2024 goes better. So 2024, as we know, did go better. I don't think that's a big spoiler here because he did actually play the full season and he put up some numbers. But this 2024 season is almost all the data we're going to get when trying to figure out what this player really is. 13 games, played the whole season, 650 snaps, so he was a full-time player. He's giving the Hurricanes, close to 50 snaps a game. He's getting up to, I think it's actually right around 50 snaps a game. Gets targeted 47 times on the season, 35 catches, 590 yards, 313 of it is yak. So there's a decent amount of production after the catch, as well as actually being more of a downfield target. So it's a good mix. 7 receiving touchdowns, so he's a red zone threat. Only 1 drop, the only drop of his collegiate career. And I'd like to say that really means something, but he only got targeted 60-something times. So understand that we're not talking about Larry Fitzgerald here. 11.1 average depth of target, so he was getting targeted deep down the field, at least somewhat deep down the field. This is not somebody who was just a, screen pass merchant all the time. This was somebody that would be used to stretch the field, push into the middle of the field, go into the center of the defense. There is some of that stuff going on here for sure. He allows 1 quarterback hit and 1 quarterback pressure in pass protection, and he picks up 3 penalties this year. So increasing his numbers there significantly, but you would expect that when you only had 1 penalty in your first 3 years combined, and you're playing a lot more now. So I don't think there's anything wrong there. 379 routes run, 230 run blocking reps, so he becomes much more of a pass route runner, and it looks like Miami might be taking him off the field for some of the run reps. 41 pass blocking reps, not a terrible sample size either. Mostly plays in line, 320 snaps, but a lot in the slot as well. I mean, you're looking at about 20 snaps a game in the slot, and you're looking at, 25 or so in line, 36 in the backfield, that's about 3 reps a game, and 37 reps wide, that's about 3 a game. So there's a wide variety to how Miami used him. 65 zone reps in run blocking, 152 gap. So good amount of mixing and matching there, but clearly favoring gap in that Miami offense. And he graded out well overall. 71.6 PFF grade, 73.6 receiving grade as a route running receiver, 70 pass blocking grade, 61 run block grade, still slightly above average there. So we're getting a better idea of what's going on here. But still, you definitely wish you had more than 1 season. But at least the 1 season provided some insight and gave us enough information to clearly covet this player. All right, so the totals. 34 games, although many of those games came in his first season when he was very much a part-time player. Part-time might even be generous. 998 snaps, did not get to 1,000 snaps in his career. 63 targets, 46 receptions, 753 yards. Like, I'm sorry, but it cannot help but be a little underwhelming when you're talking about a 4-year player who, I know it's because of injury, I understand that, but did not get to 50 career catches, did not get to 800 receiving yards, did not get to 65 targets, did not get to 1,000 snaps. Like, that is something that needs to be reckoned with. 401 yards after the catch, 8 touchdowns. He does have a pretty good count there, like 8 touchdowns on 46 catches, that's something. Only the 1 drop. Again, I want to stress that if he got targeted more, there probably would have been a couple more drops, but he is somebody that isn't going to let opportunities get away from him very often. He does have good hands. He is a good hands catcher. So I do think that is legitimate. 10.4 average depth of target. So he is somebody who is pushing down the field a little bit. This is not just a pure screen catcher. There is some of that going on, of course, but it's not the whole thing. And you bump down to his pass blocking stuff. You have 2 quarterback hits allowed, 3 quarterback hurries allowed. So that's 5 total pressures allowed on 65 pass blocking reps, by the way, which I'm not super excited about that. 4 penalties total, 3 of them came in his final year. And you look over his career, 506 routes run, 427 run blocking reps, 65 pass blocking reps. 520 snaps in line, 336 in the slot, 91 in the backfield, 51 wide. It's a nice mix, especially that last year you saw a little bit of everything, it felt like. So he does have a wide breadth of experience in many different roles. And run blocking stuff, 142 zone, 249 gap. Let me move my head there a little bit. There, you can see it. And those are the numbers, man. That's it. So we did end up spending some time talking about this because there is a lot to talk about. But at the end of the day, we are talking about a 1-year guy. He gave you 1 good year in college, which, I mean, still came with some flaws, but you are parlaying a lot of this out based off limited data. But we'll talk more about that in the video in a few hours. I'll see you guys later. Go Hawks. Let me know what you think about Arroyo so far. See you soon.